Welcome, friends. I'm Gina Nicole, and this is the Goddess Channel. So today, a message that's come in for you today is brought in the presence of Mother Mary and Kuan. And what they're sharing, actually, before I even bring the message in, is they're sharing that they're really here to bring peace and order and empowerment, clarity, wisdom, strength, fortitude to the divine feminine, to the energy of the sacred feminine at this moment in time. And they're kind of showing me this golden light pouring over the earth. And so just know, as we receive these messages, as we're being brought these messages as light workers, as way showers, it's helping to bring harmony to the world through the energy of the divine feminine, of the sacred feminine. So I think the reason they're wanting me to share that is that's why we'll probably see Mother Mary and Kuan Yin and other goddess energies coming in quite frequently, sharing messages with you and bringing energy downloads and upgrades for you, because this is a harmonizing that's currently happening. So the message that I started recording for, the message they wanted me to bring in for you today, is about how we view and judge, observe, and connect with people in the world in a very specific manner. And I think this is just a really great awareness, but I think it's also going to shift something in our energy fields. And the message is this: we tend to value in other people what we haven't learned to value yet in ourselves. We tend to value in other people what we haven't yet learned to value in ourselves. What they mean by this is, for example, if we feel some type of way, if we feel low or down or critical or judgmental about our physical appearance, we may highly value physical appearance in others. Now, depending on the frequency that we're sort of experiencing this, it may come through as jealousy, or, we might actually be judgmental or critical of somebody else's looks that we think is better looking than us. So it might not come through as a value, right? It might not look like we value that, but we know we value it, even if it's coming through a negative emotion, because we're placing a lot of our energy and attention on that thing. It could come through in a way where we admire something. So, sticking with the case of physical appearance, we may be like, oh, wow, like she's so beautiful. Like, I wish I could look like that or something. Or we may, again, put it on a lower vibration. Oh God, who does she think she is? She's always showing off, or, whatever. But we're still putting a lot of emphasis and focus and attention on that, which shows we value it. It matters to us. We're making it a big deal. It could be the same thing when it comes to wisdom. We might look at somebody and say, wow, they know so much. Like, I wish I had that kind of knowledge. Or we might look at it and say, oh God, they think they're so smart, like blah, blah, blah. Who knows? We could have any sort of reaction, but where we're putting that energy and focus, it's showing where we haven't approved of ourselves in that aspect. So if we think that we're not good looking enough, or we're not smart enough, or whatever the thing is, we will tend to project that onto others and make it a big deal about how we view others. Whereas when we come into harmony, when we come into integration within ourselves, when our ego is integrated with our soul, with our higher self, and we feel full as we are, and we value ourselves in all that we are, that in that case, we're not going to look at others to fill that deficiency in us. We're not going to be so interested in other people's, way of being, looking, whatever, because we feel complete within ourselves. We've come to value ourselves fully in all that we are, in all of the gifts that we bring. Our wisdom, our beauty, our personalities, whatever it is, will be unique, will be different to other people's, but we'll come to value it as our own harmonious perfection of self. And then we'll look at others as their own harmonious perfection of self. And we'll value ourselves equally to how we value others. We'll value each aspect of ourselves as an aspect of divine perfection in the same way that we value others' aspects as just one aspect of divine perfection in their own unique way. And so I know I'm talking in a little bit of a convoluted way here, but I'm just trying to get out all of sort of the facets of how this works. Because I know I began by saying what we haven't learned to value in ourselves yet, we value in others. And so it could be a great awareness, a great learning to notice when we are judging or simply admiring or pointing out things about people where it's really not necessary, where we really don't need to be analyzing or dissecting or, objectifying people in that way. So it's actually a really great noticing when we can say, oh, I notice myself being really jealous of that woman's body, or I notice myself judging that person for their perspective on that thing, or, whatever it is, that can give us a clue of something that wants to perhaps be healed or acknowledged or integrated within ourselves. It's a great way to notice that. And then what do? We can look for ways to love ourselves in that regard. And to notice, is it really about this thing? Or am I just feeling unloved or overlooked or abandoned? And my ego is just kind of making it about appearance, or making it about I'm not smart enough, or making it about nobody likes me or whatever, when it's really deeper than that. So it can be good to just get curious. You don't need to have the answers. But from curiosity, from noticing, we can actually heal. And if we're not quite sure what to make of it, we can say, you know what? I notice myself being jealous of this person, and I don't know why. But I'm just going to love myself where I am today. And I'm going to do things to nourish myself, to take care of myself, to uplift myself, to grow myself. And that's one way we can begin to work on our own self-image, by loving, caring for, nurturing, nourishing, growing, investing in ourselves, pouring into ourselves, as I always say, turning our light inward and giving ourselves what we think is deficient in us so that we actually see that we're not deficient. We've just been programmed, educated, whatever, in a way that didn't allow us to build a healthy self-image, that didn't allow us to see the good in ourselves. We were raised and taught mostly to judge ourselves and to compare ourselves. And so that's what Kuan and Mother Mary are starting to help us unravel today. Is anywhere that there's been judgment, comparison, not seeing the big picture of who we are and what our gifts are and how this journey is helping us to discover that. Not where we're deficient, but where we're actually full in ways that we just didn't understand or that we didn't have access to actually cultivate. And so there may be aspects of us that are fully formed and flourishing. And there may be other aspects of us that maybe are just kind of seedlings at this point, that we want to grow more, that we didn't have the opportunity to because of how our childhoods unfolded, for example. So just know, the bottom line is, there's nothing deficient in you. And it's funny, my recording went to 11:11 the moment I said that. So I believe that is the big takeaway here. There is nothing deficient in you. It just needs to be discovered or cultivated so that you can actually value in yourself what you're viewing in other people. And that's good. It's good that we came to this world and we were put into challenging situations that allow us to actually discover ourselves and to grow. Because if we had been put into perfect situations where everything was easy and perfect and comfortable, we wouldn't discover our strength and our power in the same regard. And you see this happening in the collective. Have you ever noticed that the strongest people emerge in the face of the most oppressive systems? One of my favorite examples is Malala. She was shot by the Taliban, threatened. She stood up and said, you know what? You can kill my body, but you can't kill my message. And she just kept putting her voice out there and continues to. And so that's the type of energy I'm talking about. Diamonds emerge from pressure. She is an example of that. You are an example of that. You don't have to be going up against the Taliban, but you can go up against your own self-judgment. You can go up against the way that society has marginalized people. And when I say go up against, I don't mean the energy of a fight or warfare or something like that. I mean that you can actually rise up and transcend it. Beautiful. So just feel that energy. Just know that this is already shifting energy in your field, but you can continue to do what I shared if it resonates with you. And notice when you're triggered by something and you're finding that there's a little, trigger, a little nudge in your energy where you're judging yourself, you're judging others, etc. And then just notice, okay, this is an opportunity for me to discover what's within me or cultivate what I haven't been given the opportunity to be yet. And it's beautiful, and you will transcend, not just on a huge global level, although you may ultimately do that too and dramatically shift things in our world. But even on a moment-to-moment level, you will transcend what you were the moment before. That's what awareness brings. And that's what your intention, your decision, your choice brings. It's all in you. And you are a beautiful, powerful, shining light. So I thank you for co-creating this transmission. with Mother Mary and Kuan and myself. As community, we are incredibly strong. And as we keep coming together to let these cosmic energies shift us and change us and support us and help us to grow and become even more of ourselves today than we were yesterday, we create light on the planet as never before. So I thank you for being here. I love you.